According to the plan the two had previously discussed, they wanted to move Daidara's detention location to a location closer to the Stone Village's spies. But now no matter how he heard it, Deidara seemed to be really being beaten. Kuratsuchi, why does this voice sound so familiar? Akachi pushed Kuratsuchi's arm, his eyes revealing doubt. Kuratsuchi nodded and said softly, "That's right, it's like Daidara's voice. Never mind, let's take a closer look at them first." Both sides were empty prisons, basically holding no prisoners. The further he went, the clearer Daidara's miserable screams became. Naruto and Hinata passed a turn ahead and saw Deidara, who was covered in whip marks. At this time, inside a prison cell, Deidara was shirtless, tied to a stone pillar, with a miserable expression. And in front of Deidara stood a tall, rough, and strong man, holding a whip in his hand, pointing at Deidara and saying something. "You Akatsuki organization bastard. You are the one who caused us to kill so many people. You caused us to die so miserably. Beating you to death with a few whips is all you want. Deidara, it's really you. Why are you here?" Akachi's eyes immediately lit up, and he quickly ran towards Deidara's dungeon. Kuratsuchi followed closely behind. Looking at Deidara's body covered in wounds, a trace of heartache flashed in her eyes. "Brother Deidara, how did you become like this?" Akachi Kuratsuchi. Deidara suddenly turned his head, seeing these two people also revealing surprised expressions. It was as if he had just learned about Akachi and Kuratsuchi. In fact, just now Naruto's shadow clone had told him the plan to bring Deidara back to the Stone Village. "What happened? Hinata, why did you beat him up like that?" Naruto pushed Hinata's shoulder and asked in a low voice. Hinata covered her mouth with her hand and whispered in Naruto's ear. "It was Deidara who asked to do this. Saying it like this makes it seem more real. That's why Kuratsuchi and Akachi are heartbroken." "Don't worry, Naruto-kun. Those are just small injuries on his body. Just a little bit of chicken blood. It looks like a serious injury." "I'm going." Naruto looked confused. "I never thought Deidara would be willing to go to this extent to comply with Naruto's orders. Is this the same art kid who used to self-destruct at the slightest thing? Completely unsuitable for his identity as an artist." While talking, Naruto raised his head and looked back in the other direction. Just happened to see Deidara in the time he was talking with Kuratsuchi. Took the time to look towards Naruto and blinked at Naruto. That meaning is like saying, "How is it? My acting looks very realistic." Naruto's face was silent. He secretly said, "What else can I say? If I knew you had this talent, I would have advised you not to be an artist. Being an actor is more suitable." Kuratsuchi grabbed the iron bars of the prison and hurriedly asked, "Brother Deidara, quickly tell me what happened. Why are you imprisoned here?" Deidara's body suddenly began to convulse violently, a trace of foam vaguely flowing from the corner of his mouth. Using a miserable gaze, he looked at Kuratsuchi and said, "Kuratsuchi, I beg you, save me. I will definitely admit my mistake with that old man. They are really too cruel. I can't stand this kind of torture anymore." Saying that, Deidara tilted his head, completely lost to the past. Seeing his senior brother being tortured so miserably, Kuratsuchi immediately became angry. Even though Deidara had betrayed and fled to the village, no matter what, the brother-sister relationship still remained. "Naruto, what exactly did he do wrong? Why do you have to treat him like this?" Kuratsuchi turned his head to look at Naruto, his tone filled with anger. Naruto said in surprise, "What? You know this person too? A few days ago, he invaded our country of waves with a member of the Akatsuki organization. Now he is a death row inmate in our hidden village." Akachi's face immediately turned fearful. "Death row prisoner? Naruto, are you guys planning to kill Deidara?" Naruto nodded. "That's natural. They really did kill hundreds of ninjas in our hidden village. This kind of rogue must definitely be killed." Kuratsuchi and Akachi looked at each other, both seeing a trace of fear in each other's eyes. Until this moment, the two people just understood. It turns out that men in villages destroyed buildings, as well as the square at the entrance of the city gate. It was all the Akatsuki organization's invasion that caused the consequences. Killed hundreds of ninja from men in village? Then Deidara and men in village's enmity can be considered to be really great. Perhaps Kuratsuchi and Akachi were once Deidara's fellow disciples, with an extremely close relationship. They naturally did not want to see Deidara, just like that, losing his life here. Kuratsuchi immediately took a step forward, his eyes filled with pleading. "Naruto, this man is called Deidara. He is our fellow disciple and brother. Can you give a stone village some face and let him live? Naruto deliberately had a stern expression, his expression hard and sharp, turning his head to the side. How can that be? He killed so many ninjas in our hidden village. How can we let him go so easily? Akachi and Kuratsuchi both knew what kind of person Deidara was. Because of his crazy and infatuated art, he basically doesn't consider other people's lives to be important. Naruto mentioned that hundreds of ninjas died at Deidara's hands. Although Akachi and Kuratsuchi were surprised, they were willing to believe that this was true, although they felt that such a request was unreasonable. Akachi and Kuratsuchi still wanted to save Deidara's life. Akachi pleaded, Naruto, I know this is Deidara's fault. He shouldn't have mixed up with the people of that Akatsuki organization, causing your village to suffer such a terrifying attack. Really, Deidara, he is really our fellow disciple brother. Can you not help us with one thing, spare Deidara's life? Just consider it like saving the demon bean and Tomoki. Let us write an IOU. Paying you back later is fine. Seeing that Akachi had already said this, Kuratsuchi quickly echoed. That's right. Naruto, if you are willing to help us, I can assure you that the Stone Village will forever be allied with the Hidden Village. In the future, if Minen Village encounters any trouble, I will definitely convince Grandpa and let him send ninjas to help you. This, Naruto pretended to be embarrassed on the surface, vaguely showing a hint of emotion. But Naruto's heart was already blooming. He didn't think these two people were so easy to fool. It seems that Deidara's position in their hearts is really very high. Naruto-kun, if not, you should think about it a bit. Being friendly with the Stone Village is also very important for the future development of our village. Hinata immediately stood up, pulled Naruto's arm, and started to persuade. Naruto raised his chin, tried to hold back his laughter, and nodded. All right then, since you all say so, this matter is not completely unacceptable. It's just that I believe you all understand that I need to give justice to the ninja village, and I'm not intentionally making things difficult for you all. So how much compensation are you willing to pay? Since Tsuchika Jinoki was willing to be this big shot, then Naruto was naturally willing to accept. Naruto silently decided in his heart. As soon as this compensation amount reached their hands, regardless of the amount, it was immediately distributed to those buried ninja family members. If he wanted to let Deidara leave like this, it would be a bit apologetic to those dead ninja, and would make the other ninja in the village dissatisfied. This kind of situation will also not happen. Once upon a time, the ninja world was in a long period of constant war, with people dying and all. The rich people in their hearts more or less had enlightenment. Otherwise, just before that, Konoha was attacked by Orochimaru and the Sand Ninja in a joint attack. Does the Sand Ninja Village not have the life of the Leaf Ninja Village? Later, it was not until after the Sand Village made huge efforts to compensate that the two countries established an alliance treaty and had been on friendly terms for so many years. In front of absolute benefits, everyone can let go of hatred. Furthermore, Naruto distributed all of this compensation money to the dead ninjas' family members, which was considered the best compensation for them. Thank you, Naruto. Kuratsuchi revealed a happy smile. Akachi also turned towards Naruto, baring his teeth and nodding in gratitude. No need to thank me. I also see your sincerity. Naruto smiled and nodded. Immediately, Kuratsuchi and Akachi gathered together and discussed in low voices. Kuratsuchi then stood up and said, Let's do it. Naruto, you said it before, the ninja of the Hidden Village have sacrificed quite a few. We are willing to pay the previous 3 million taels, and then increase it by 10 million taels for a total of 13 million. Is that okay? Having said that, without waiting for Naruto to reply, Kuratsuchi hastily explained. Naruto, I know this point of money doesn't count for much, and sacrificing the lives of those ninjas in the Hidden Village is completely not worth mentioning. But our Stone Village National Treasury is not rich either. If there really is extra money, I can completely make the decision and compensate you with more gold. Naruto waved his hand and said with a smile, It's okay. I can agree to let him go. From now on, we will have good diplomatic relations. I am still willing to help with this small matter. Kuratsuchi immediately revealed a knowing smile. Thank you, Naruto. You are truly a good person. It's okay. You're welcome. Oh. Naruto was about to let the ninja in the prison firmly open the door when he suddenly felt a sharp pain coming from his back. Hinata squeezed the flesh on her back with one hand, forcefully twisting it in a circle. Smiling on the outside but not on the inside, she leaned in close to Naruto's ear and whispered, "You really are bold. You dared to collude with another girl right in front of me. This has already made me a good person." Naruto's face turned red from the pain. Luckily, Kuratsuchi and Akachi were already standing at the prison door, observing Deidara's situation inside, and didn't see any movement behind. Otherwise, Naruto's strict appearance would probably be ridiculed by the two of them. "Wife, I was wrong. Can't that be okay? I know I was wrong, so I'll change. Can you give me some face in front of outsiders?" Naruto also didn't know if he was wrong or not, but since Hinata said he was wrong, then he should just obediently admit it. "Humph, you are so sensible." Hinata curled her small lips and let out a soft hum. After these years of getting used to living together, Hinata has lost her naivety and is completely different from the little girl who would get nervous when she saw Naruto before. But no matter what, she still always liked that Hinata Naruto. Even though her personality has changed a bit, she still cares about Naruto the same way, always putting Naruto in first place, even surpassing herself. "Open the door a little. Let the two stone villagers in." Naruto waved towards a strong man holding a whip inside the cell. "Yes, Lord Naruto." The strong man agreed, put away his whip, took out his key, and opened the door. Actually, he was originally sent by Hinata to act. Although he had just accurately whipped Deidara's body quite a bit, he had controlled the force very well, and did not let Deidara be too badly injured. "Deidara, hey, wake up!" Akachi rushed into the prison, stroked Deidara's cheeks, intending to wake him up. Kuratsuchi also stood to the side, his face filled with worry and heartache. Taking advantage of this, not long after, Naruto hurriedly turned to Hinata and asked in a low voice, "Hinata, can I ask you something?" Hinata wondered, "What happened? Why are you being so mysterious? Tell me." Naruto coughed twice. "No, nothing. I was just asking out of curiosity. You said you weren't angry." Hinata glared at Naruto. "That depends on what it is. I can make the decision." Naruto swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said nervously, "I declare this first. I have no intention of getting into any kind of relationship with another girl. I am purely asking out of curiosity." Seeing Hinata nod, signaling him to stop talking, Naruto then continued, "It's just, didn't you say before that you wanted me to try to accept Girin and Karen? Really, why can't you accept me talking to Kuratsuchi, and I'm just talking to her normally? Not doing anything." Hinata snorted softly. "You really are an idiot. Don't you know that when a girl likes a boy, it all starts with curiosity and good feelings towards that boy? Right now, Kuratsuchi has this kind of feeling towards you. Moreover, I'm willing to let Girin and Karen be with you and share my man with me. Because the two of them are my good sisters for many years. Of course I don't care that much about this kind of thing. Maybe Kuratsuchi is different. She is that Tsuchikage granddaughter. We now change the method to trap people. Moreover, you still want to use Deidara to subdue them from Stone Village. Kuratsuchi is truly the Tsuchikage granddaughter. Her heart naturally turns to her grandfather and the village. Do you feel that if Kuratsuchi in the future knew about this kind of thing, he would hate you so much that his teeth itched?" Naruto looked confused. It turned out that in such a short time, Hinata had already thought about so many problems. Even considering Kuratsuchi being with Naruto later on, what problems might Naruto encounter in the future? Again, when a woman encounters this kind of matter, can her brain become so active? But after circling around like that for a long time, Naruto's thoughts returned. Kuratsuchi might have a good impression of him and be curious about this matter. Really? Kuratsuchi has a good impression of me? How could I not see it? You didn't see it. Just now in the living room, Kuratsuchi was still getting angry at me. Naruto pointed at his nose and asked. Hinata pulled Naruto's arm back and said with a smile, "Never doubt a woman's sixth sense. Since I dare to say so, there must be a very high possibility. Moreover, Kuratsuchi just got angry with you, but now he shows gratitude to you. That can only mean that he has a really good temper." Naruto let out a soft sigh. Hinata really is thoughtful. These things that happened in just half a day, she observed them all so carefully, and also thought about them so clearly and long-term. As for the collection of Girin, Karen, Kuratsuchi, Naruto temporarily really did not have such thoughts. Before in Tai Chi Kingdom, he was kissed by Harumi once. Naruto still feels guilty towards Hinata until now. Again, I don't know how Harumi is doing now. She must have been angered by Naruto suddenly leaving. Langquoc border. A place with steep terrain, extremely deserted cave inside. An extremely large mud turtle body lay quietly on the ground, breathing little by little. This mud turtle only has one eye, but its entire eye is red, with 3 black pearls slowly moving inside its pupil. It's like at some point in time I was already under an illusion. The mud turtle's mouth opened wide, and a large patch of red chakra flowed out like silk threads from its mouth, pouring into a giant stone statue in its mouth. The stone statue has a fierce face, with 9 large eyes on its large face. 2 of its eyes were already open. The third eye was slowly opening along with the red chakra that was sucked in. That eye was bloodshot and looked extremely terrifying. At the side of the turtle mud, there was also a red-robed and red-haired old man, surrounded by a mass of chakra, floating in the air. This old man's mouth was wide open. Red chakra was overflowing from his eyes, nose, and mouth, and he fiercely charged towards the stone statue's mouth. Finally, the mud turtle and the red chakra in the old man's mouth were all absorbed. The stone statue of the third eye and the fourth eye, all are fully open. It opened its mouth wide and let out a faint roar, as if it was eating that red chakra with great satisfaction. Good. The 3 tails and 4 tails ceiling is complete. Everyone, hard work. The stone statue has 2 big hands and fingertips. Standing there is a colorful, illusory figure. When this illusory figure opened its eyes, a pair of eyes were unexpectedly filled with circular ripples. The remaining people also similarly retreated from the sealed meditation state, stretching a bit. White Zetsu said, "Seal the 3 tails and 4 tails together consecutively. It can really be a huge physical feat. Besides, the number of Akatsuki members is getting smaller and smaller now." Immediately after that, a low voice rang out. The White Zetsu's other half-black body opened its mouth and said, "Pain! Kakuzu and the other 4 have failed." The 9 tails Jinchuriki defeated them all, and Deidara was also captured. Kisame Hashigaki raised his mouth full of fangs, glanced at Itachi beside him. "This is really surprising. It seems that the 9 tails Jinchuriki's strength has increased again." Itachi. Last time, he and Itachi ran to the land of waves to capture the 9-tailed Jinchuriki. Itachi said the other party was so powerful, Kisame still didn't quite believe it. Now hearing that Deidara and the others were defeated, this time, they couldn't help but feel surprised at Itachi's prediction. However, Deidara is a short-lived guy. I didn't think he would be the one who didn't die. Kisame said with a sigh. Black Zetsu said, "That's right. That Deidara guy used all his tricks at that time. He wanted to self-destruct at first, but for some reason he suddenly stopped in the end. Sell out, immediately avoid underground one side, peeking at that one battle. At that time when Naruto fainted, he really wanted to immediately go up and capture Naruto easily. But with Hinata and Karen around, Zetsu, Absolute, wasn't completely certain. Karen, that powerful sensing ninja, as soon as Zetsu, Absolute, stepped out, would likely be immediately discovered. Adding Hinata and those more than 100 Jonin, they could be considered a not small fighting force. On the other hand, the premise below is not entirely certain. If defeated, his secret will be revealed. So he had no choice but to take the risk. It's Kodo Amatsukami, Shursue's dojutsu ability. Itachi slowly opened his mouth and said. Just after listening to the general description of the battle situation, Itachi was able to roughly guess the battle situation. Maybe at the time Deidara carried out his self-destruction. There was also a method to stop it. Other than Kodo Amatsukami, really couldn't think of more possibilities. What? Kodo Amatsukami? Kisame exclaimed. The remaining people here all had slightly frightened expressions on their faces. Shursui Manjikyu Dojutsu's ability. The people present were all very clear. Conan asked, Itachi, you said that Deidara was hit by Kodo Amatsukami. Now he has revealed Akatsuki, becoming the 9 tails Jinchuriki. Itachi nodded. This kind of possibility is extremely high. That Deidara guy has also rebelled, or rather, his brain has been modified. As soon as those words were uttered, everyone fell silent. Even the 2 immortals and the 2 artistic groups, both holding the 9-tailed Jinchuriki, are powerless, so in the end, who else can control Uzumaki Naruto? White Zetsu said. Things have become more and more troublesome now. Itachi, your little brother is currently asking for your whereabouts everywhere. It seems like he wants to find you for revenge. I know. Itachi was stunned, then casually agreed. In recent years, Itachi also knew that Sasuke had left the Land of Waves. He had quietly investigated Sasuke's whereabouts, but the final result was the same. He didn't know where Sasuke went. Now 3 years have passed. I still don't know how much my younger brother has grown. There is also Orochimaru's cursed mark left on his younger brother's body, which is still a huge hidden danger. Itachi, what are you going to do? Kisame Hashigaki looked at Itachi. He really wanted to know? What exactly was Itachi thinking? As a teammate, Kisame had a special respect for Itachi, this powerful guy. But at the same time, Kisame also could not see through Itachi's inner thoughts. Itachi always appeared deep, as if he had countless things buried in his heart. Itachi gently shook his head and said, "It's time to come. I've missed those eyes for a long time. It's time to take them back and make them mine." These words made Zetsu and Kisame's hearts jump slightly. Sure enough, Itachi slaughtered his entire clan, but only left his younger brother behind, just to get his younger brother's eyes. Perhaps Zetsu and Kisame did not fully understand the special nature of the Mangekyo Sharingan, but they could vaguely guess some connection between them. Devapath Pain said, "Itachi, if you have personal matters to deal with, we have no objections. Just go ahead and do it. Nowadays, Akatsuki members are getting fewer and fewer. Our organization will have a new member joining. Today, let's meet him and everyone." As he spoke, Heavenly Dao Pain turned his head to look towards the cave on the right side of the stone door. He seemed to have known someone was coming. Just at this moment, a man wearing a mask with orange fingerprints passed through the stone door and entered everyone's sight. "Hello, good seniors. I am Toby. Akatsuki has just added a new member. Please take good care of him in the future." Kisame smiled at the corner of his mouth. It seems like someone has some meaning. Besides, this organization lacked Deidara and Hayden's conversation after that. It always felt a bit gloomy. Now that this guy has joined, it feels like the atmosphere has immediately eased a lot. Thank you for your exaggeration, Kisame-senpai. I will definitely try my best. Toby scratched his head, smiling somewhat awkwardly. This guy, an undetectable expression flashed across Itachi's eyes. Who is this chrysanthemum masked man? Itachi is very clear in his heart. He is the still undead Madara Uchiha. At that time, Itachi was forced to accept Danzo and the third Hokage's orders to kill all Uchiha clan members. Luckily, this masked man Madara came to their aid. Otherwise, Itachi wouldn't have made things go so smoothly. Finally, he secretly approached Danzo and suppressed him, preventing him from facing Sasuke. Only Itachi was not clear. Why did Madara drag himself into the Akatsuki organization from the very beginning, while he himself kept it a secret behind, letting the person holding the Rinnegan, Pain, be the leader of the Akatsuki organization? Tiandao Pain glanced at the crowd and said, "Good, everyone has recognized each other. No, Itachi, you can go deal with your brother first. From then on, the two of you will be responsible for capturing the 5 tails. I will join Conan in a group and head to the Hidden Mist Village to search for the whereabouts of the 6 tails. Toby and Zetsu team up to find the 7 tails. The story has a temporary ending here. Goodbye." According to Pain's orders, Itachi and Kisame's colorful figures flashed for a while, disappearing into the cave. But Zetsu, Absolute Conan, Devapath Pain, Toby 4 people but still stopped in place without moving. It's not that they didn't want to leave, it's just that the masked man had already told White Zetsu early in the morning. Let Zetsu White inform Pain and the others. Prepare to discuss and handle together. How about Nine-Tails' story? What? For the 9 tails, Jinchuriki. Do you have any plans? Madara, Pain asked. The orange-colored one-eyed mask showed a streak of red, 3 pearls at the pupil of the eye. In slow motion, he laughed coldly and said, "Humph, let's put the 9 tails matter aside for now. We don't have enough manpower right now, so we can't come up with any surprises. Let's see first what that Itachi guy wants to do. I don't believe he really has it. I can wholeheartedly protect my younger brother, but that poisonous hand comes down." The masked man basically knew everything about Itachi. Itachi and the masked man had an agreement before. That is because Itachi is still alive, willing to obey the organization. Akatsuki all arranged, but at the same time, Itachi also wanted to ask Madara not to attack Konoha village and Uchiha Sasuke. But here everyone is considered a masked confidant, except for the masked person's true identity on the outside. The Akatsuki organization inside. Other secrets, Pain, Conan, Zetsu Absolute, 3 people basically know everything. White Zetsu asked. What is it, Madara? You want to hit Itachi, right? I've already seen it. The masked man did not deny it and said in a low voice. If Itachi really wants to kill himself, and in exchange for Uchiha Sasuke to open the Mangekyo Sharingan, then I will definitely eat this Sasuke pawn. The previous agreements with Itachi are completely worthless. Black Zetsu said. Another Mangekyo Sharingan. I really don't know if Uchiha Sasuke can grow to Itachi's level. The masked man smiled. Just wait. Furthermore, I also want to use Sasuke to help me complete a task. Some things originally belonged to me. It's time to take them back. Men in Village Gate. Here waiting for 2 or 3 days' time Kuratsuchi and Akachi. This time leading the noble beings. Together with Tomoki 4 people, step up to return to the Stone Village Road. Of course, Deidara was also among these people. After a few days of recuperation, Deidara's injuries have recovered quite a bit. You guys? Then I will bring you here. Naruto, Kuratsuchi, and the others walked side by side. However, when he saw that they had left the village, he stopped and said goodbye to Kuratsuchi and the others. Thank you, Naruto. If you are willing to give me money, I will quickly send someone to deliver it. Kuratsuchi said with a smile. Kuratsuchi, no need to rush. Be careful on the way back. Welcome again, next time. Come play here with us. Hinata pulled Naruto's arm, very much like a mistress. Reply, yes. Kuratsuchi nodded, immediately looking towards the side and slowly following behind Deidara. Teasingly said, how is it, Deidara? Do you want Akachi to carry you on the road? Looking at you now, your demeanor is much different from before. Kuratsuchi is just the Deidara of the past, complaining and yelling, with the art of screaming hanging from his mouth. But recently, these past few days, Deidara's personality seems to have changed a lot. Not only did she and Akachi convince him, he agreed to follow them back to the village. Stone. Han also stayed in the hospital room, obediently resting and healing his wounds. Also, do not go out to cause trouble. Akachi also turned his head and said kindly, Deidara, can you go by yourself? Kuratsuchi? That's right. I can carry you. Cut. Idiot. I'm not that weak. Deidara curled his lips and replied disdainfully. Immediately, he took out some clay from his pocket and swallowed it in his palm. Swallow. In less than a moment, he squeezed a clay bird and it flew. As he threw it forward, the flying bird exploded a white mist, turned into a meter-long clay bird. I'll go first, you guys slowly follow behind. As he spoke, Deidara's knees bent slightly, and he jumped onto the clay bird behind him. The bird flapped its wings, carrying Deidara into the sky. Wait a minute, Deidara-chan, this guy? Kuratsuchi wanted to stop it, but was still one step too late. Reluctantly, Kuratsuchi had no choice but to use the Earth Release secret technique and begin to transform his body. Light up, Sora flight. Akachi scratched his head vaguely, not worrying too much, and quickly flew up, following Kuratsuchi behind. Wait a minute, Miss Kuratsuchi, Mr. Akachi. The Devil Bean and Tomoki 4 people desperately waved towards the 2 people in the air. All 3 of them know how to fly. Maybe the others don't know. Maybe because they were afraid of Naruto's terrifying strength, afraid that Naruto would say one thing and do another. They were unwilling to let them go. The 4 people looked back at Naruto without any agreement, without any hesitation. They spread their legs and ran towards the direction of the Wave Country's gate and the Great Bridge. Hinata, let's go back too. Naruto held Hinata's slender waist with one hand and slowly walked towards the village. Around the past, villagers were not lacking. Hinata's personality has changed, but inside she is shy. Today the text still exists. Seeing the passers-by all around throwing glances, Hinata immediately became ugly. Red Tiger. She slapped Naruto on the back of her hand, pulling Naruto's big hand off of him. She let down. Many people are looking like that. No messing around allowed. No running allowed. Today I will definitely catch you. Naruto pretended to chase, following Hinata's footsteps. Hinata and Naruto were playing around, and in less than a moment they arrived at the square in the large building. A guy wearing a blue ninja vest, holding an envelope in his hand, quickly ran over and brought the message in front of Naruto. Lord Naruto, this is your message, I believe. Naruto was a little stunned. Who would use this method to write a letter to me? Tsunade probably wouldn't. After all, Katsuyu clone was lying on the desk in the room. It won't be Mei Terumi. The distance between the Water Kingdom and the Wave Kingdom is far, so sending letters by flying birds is not impossible. Why are you standing there? Take it and take a look. Hinata pushed Naruto's arm and pouted at the envelope. Yes. Naruto nodded, conveniently took the envelope, and turned it to face himself. As soon as he saw the large letters on the envelope, Naruto's heartbeat immediately accelerated, becoming extremely nervous. Uzumaki Naruto reveals himself. Sent by Harumi from the Kingdom of Thailand. Naruto's hand holding the envelope was trembling faintly. The end ended. Harumi sent a reply, not saying anything ambiguous. What should I do if Harumi's kiss exposes me? Hinata, she will definitely be very angry. A bunch of questions and all kinds of possibilities arose in Naruto's heart. Look at the news. What are you so absent-minded about? Hinata pushed Naruto's arm again. Obviously, she had a trace of suspicion and had helped escort him back, but it had only been a few days and he was already starting to send a reply. This matter is definitely not that simple. But Hinata's meaning was very clear. The news must be right in front of me. I want to know what the hell is going on between you two. Look, of course I want to look. Naruto awkwardly scratched his head. His heart was full of unwillingness. He tore the letter apart a little bit. This kind of feeling is like being caught in adultery. Why is it so strange, making people's hearts panic like this? At this moment, Naruto's heart yearned for time to stop at this second. He should have just brought Hinata to activate Hiration, go home and crawl into bed. The envelope was still opened. The content of the letter is what Naruto thought. Harumi really did mention that kiss. Naruto, why did you suddenly leave? Did I scare you when I personally officiated your wedding that day? If that's the case, I'm willing to say I'm sorry. I really didn't think this would put such great psychological pressure on you. Even let you enter travel, Lee did not care to clean up. Just took Inari inside, the three of them quietly left. I know you already have someone in your heart. I don't even hope that you can really like me. Please believe me, that day when I was with you, I was also extremely anxious and scared. I have never been with a man like this before. If this matter really caused you such great embarrassment, I am willing to sincerely apologize to you. I am so sorry. I am writing to you this time in the hope that you can help me like you said before, so that Tai Chi Kingdom and Song Chi Kingdom can be on good terms forever. Anyway, I have just inherited the throne. There are still many officials under me who cannot submit. If Minen Village is really like you said, I will send ninjas to take a look every once in a while. I think my ruling position in the Tai Chi Kingdom will become even more solid. Wait a little longer. I will have my subordinates bring you some Thai specialties. Consider it as a thank you for being so willing to help me. If it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't know how many times I would have died. The content of the letter is roughly just these things. Harumi seemed to misunderstand the reason why Naruto left. She just thought that Naruto suddenly took the three little guys and left to avoid meeting her. And the words are expressing guilt to Naruto, completely putting her queen's status really low. That's great. You actually came with me personally. Hinata also saw the content of the letter. Immediately anger appeared on her face. She reached out and grabbed Naruto's ear. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Naruto was in so much pain that he kept begging for forgiveness. Wife, I was wrong. It really wasn't my intention. You saw it too. She walked up to me. Hinata snorted softly. This is not because you were showing mercy everywhere. Isn't a girl like you? How could she be so proactive? I really didn't. Naruto was extremely wronged. At that time, his mind was at most short-circuited and he couldn't resist. Whatever the heck, it's like there isn't any. That's right, if saving Harumi a few times can be considered as showing mercy. After the ninja in the bra delivered the message, he hadn't gone far yet. Hearing Naruto's miserable scream, she turned her head and saw Naruto being grabbed by the ear by Hinata. She couldn't help but let out a happy cry and stood there watching the show. For this Naruto lord, everyone in the ninja village is very familiar. Not only is he a rich man with a lot of money, but his strength is also so strong that there is almost no one who can match him. But there is one person who can always control Naruto. That is Naruto's future wife, Hyuga Hinata. Everyone knows. Naruto is very obedient to Hinata's words. As long as it's not a big deal, he will basically give in to Hinata. Go, go, go. Do your work. What's there to see? Naruto saw that ninja standing there smiling foolishly, so he quickly waved his hand to chase him away. Yes, Lord Naruto. The blue-clothed ninja suppressed his laughter, took 3 steps, turned around, and slowly walked away. Wow! Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto grabbed Hinata's slender waist and carried her away, disappearing on the spot. Next, in the blink of an eye, the two appeared in a lavishly decorated bedroom. But Hinata at this moment still maintained the position of tightly holding Naruto's ear. The scene in front of the courtyard changed, making Hinata stagnant for a moment. What are you doing? Suddenly bringing me home? Is it to avoid what happened just now? Hinata's madness skill first level has been activated, briefly without the gentleness of the past. Naruto quickly smiled to make peace. Wife, I don't have any. There are so many people on the street, we can't be seen like this. Humph, Hinata then let go of the jade hand that was tightly holding Naruto's ear. I want you to immediately go through everything carefully and give me all the details. Yes, I guarantee to complete the mission. Naruto bowed his head. Immediately, Naruto began to narrate the story of escorting Harumi's mission. Covers how Harumi entered the Land of Waves. Taichi Kingdom Prince fights for the throne. Harumi was chased by her younger brother, and a series of stories. Naruto also had enough to say. Of course, it also includes how Harumi confessed to Naruto and how she kissed Naruto. All of which were said. Only this is because Hinata forced him to say it. During this process, she widened her eyes and stared at Naruto's face, wanting to see if Naruto was lying or not. That's exactly what happened. The reason I hid it was because I was afraid you would be angry if you knew. Naruto said in detail. All right, let's say you're not wrong. Hinata muttered under her breath. Hinata paused for a moment, then continued. However, based on the whole process you described and the letter Harumi wrote for you, she probably really likes you and has very deep feelings for you. Ah, how can you see it all? Naruto looked confused. Hinata and Harumi have never even seen each other's faces. How could she judge so clearly? Hinata glared at Naruto. You are such an idiot, you can't even see this. A girl, knowing full well that she might be rejected, still chose to confess to you and say those words. How much courage did she have to put forth? How much internal struggle did she have to go through before? As she said this, Hinata recalled the time when she secretly loved Naruto as a child, remembering her always secretly hiding to the side, silently staring at Naruto. Even though she knew that Naruto seemed to like little Sakura, she was very miserable inside. But she was still willing to stand to the side, quietly watching and waiting. Although later on he didn't know why, Naruto-kun completely changed. He didn't like little Sakura, but instead rolled around with her Tenten. But in short, that memory from when she was young still allowed Hinata to fully understand Harumi's feelings. At the same time, Hinata also admired Harumi for daring to take that step forward. So, Hinata, what do you mean you still don't blame me? Naruto still had a confused expression, not quite understanding what Hinata meant. Hinata raised her hand and poked Naruto's head with her fingertips. So I say you're an idiot. You don't understand a girl's mind at all. I'm not saying I blame you. I just got a little angry when I encountered this kind of thing. Anger? Isn't that my fault? Naruto asked. Hinata resentfully glared at Naruto. I don't mind you, but as for this Princess Harumi, I actually really want to take a look at her. Ah, that's good. Naruto nodded. Since Hinata has revealed her past, this is of course the best outcome. As for Hinata wanting to meet Harumi, then it's up to her to go. Naruto is too lazy to bother. On the contrary, with Hinata's personality, she couldn't bear to be like a servant and do something to Harumi. Judging from the expression on her eyebrows, it seemed like she was just curious about Harumi, purely wanting to get to know Harumi. Wife, look, we're all back in the room. Why don't we take care of some serious business first? Naruto laughed darkly, pouting and pointing at the large circle on the bed. You already know how to miss this. I just don't care about you. Hinata immediately understood. Her face flushed red with embarrassment. She took a step and ran out of the room. But how could she be faster than Naruto? Naruto used his physical speed advantage to instantly dodge behind Hinata, wrapped his arms around her soft body, and gently stroked her soft spot. Today I will not let you escape. Little lamb, obediently wait to be eaten by me. Naruto-kun. Hinata was hit by Naruto's dishonest hand, causing her whole body to feel a little numb and weak. She let out a soft hum, falling into Naruto's arms, letting this man loose on her body as he pleased. Naruto lowered his head and blocked her small cherry mouth. Before long, the two people's breathing became more and more rapid. Naruto tore her shirt button, picked her up, and threw her on the bed. Fire Nation border. Early morning dew drops in the forest on the leaves, occasionally dripping down. In the woods, a young man wearing a white kimono, eyes closed, stood still for a moment. He wore a white kimono, kept his black hair, and carried a kusanagi sword at his side. He suddenly opened his eyes. Within those pair of blood-red Kurenai pupils, there were 3 rapidly moving pearls. Chidori turbulent flow. With a light shout, a mass of lightning exploded from the outside of the young man's body, spreading and pushing out with his body as the center. The electric current burned several large trees within 1 meter of each other, and the tree debris was thrown into the air in all directions. The Chidori flow finally had a little breakthrough. Sasuke whispered softly, his fists clenched slightly, his confidence in defeating Itachi Uchiha increased slightly. Chidori Turbulence is an enhanced version of Chidori Turbulence Dance. Chidori's ability is to use lightning to protect itself, forming a short-lived lightning protective barrier. But Chidori's turbulent flow is the perfect combination of defense and offense. First, use lightning to protect yourself. Then use a powerful electric current to expand a circle of electric current outwards, using this to attack the enemy. Early morning practice ends. Just as Sasuke was about to turn back to the base camp, Kabuto and I met up. Then he discovered that more than 10 meters behind him, a man wearing a black robe had appeared at some unknown time, quietly staring at him. This man had black hair and a long cut on his forehead, the Konoha Ninja Hittite forehead seal. That pair of pupils were as red as Sasuke's, and even the shape was 7 or 8 parts similar to Sasuke's. I didn't think you would find me yourself. Good. It saves me the time I spent searching for you, Itachi Uchiha. Briefly surprised at Itachi's supernatural methods, Sasuke's eyes flashed with an undetectable viciousness, glaring at Itachi and saying in a low voice, "Sasuke, you've changed. You've become more mature, not like that year. See me, you would shout and charge at me." Itachi quietly looked at Sasuke, possessing this younger brother, who finally had some maturity. Only this part of maturity is not enough. He also wants to help his younger brother before he falls down from this body that is being tortured by illness. Sasuke grabbed Kusunagi's sword hilt with one hand and slowly walked towards Itachi. "That's natural. Itachi, isn't this what you wanted? Let me linger and survive, finally come before you, successfully kill you, this ringleader of the massacre of my clansmen. I am no longer that child from back then. My eyes are enough to discover all of your illusionary arts. Now I have the strength to defeat you." While talking, Sasuke suddenly raised his left hand, make hands covered by lightning. As he waved his hand forward, the lightning in his palm transformed into a sharp blade, quickly stabbing towards Itachi Uchiha's heart. Itachi Uchiha's mouth smiled slightly, and he suddenly turned his head away. Let that Chidori spear pierce through under his armpit, finally piercing the back of a giant tree. Sasuke's left hand slightly moved, the Chidori spear changed its edge, slashing horizontally towards Itachi Uchiha's body. Itachi Uchiha quickly jumped up, using the help of the big tree trunk to kick hard. His body like a cannonball flew straight towards Sasuke. Collect. In the air, several shuriken were clamped by Itachi in the gap in the middle. Following the continuous waving of both hands, the shuriken rapidly rotated, directly attacking Sasuke. Ding ding ding. Sasuke similarly waved his 2 hands continuously, throwing out an equal number of shuriken, just enough to knock down Itachi's powerfully thrown shuriken. Fire release great fireball technique. 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 Sasuke quickly made hand seals with both hands. The fireball seal was completed. He stood with one hand beside his mouth, his jaw raised. A flame spurted out from its mouth, rapidly condensing into a huge fireball, sweeping past Itachi Uchiha. Itachi suddenly stopped his body. His 2 feet firmly fell to the ground, like a knot. Fire player press. A thread of fire sprayed out from Itachi's mouth, an identical fireball, meeting the other big fireball's collision. Boom boom tilde tilde tilde. 2 big fireballs touched each other. Immediately fire erupted in all directions, waves. Fire rushed straight up to Sora. In the end, Sasuke's fireball was even more powerful, rising and falling on the ground. The head's long trajectory crushed Itachi's body forward. Itachi couldn't dodge in time. His body was engulfed and swept away by the fireball. When he appeared in the air again, His entire body had turned black. But this only lasted for less than a second. Itachi's charred body, with a bang, exploded into a white mist and disappeared without a trace. It turns out this is just a shadow clone. But Itachi's true form, without knowing when, had surrounded Sasuke behind him, raising him up. A kick towards Naruto behind. Sasuke's mouth corners curled up into a cold smile. What a familiar scene. Itachi, you think that monkey circus act back then can still be of use to me now? I told you. My eyes are enough to discover all your illusions. Now I have enough to keep defeating your strength. While speaking, Sasuke's entire body was shining with electricity. A ring of lightning covered Sasuke's body, suddenly transforming into a 360-degree electric arc net, rapidly expanding outward. This is Sasuke's latest completed practice, Chidori Turbulent Flow. Although Itachi's kick was very fast. But Sasuke is not without the ability to dodge quickly. He is not the same as before. The lightning flash technique has been cultivated to almost the limit. His speed is many times faster than before. The reason for using this move, Chidori Turbulence, is to avoid the opponent's attack at the same time, and also to let the opponent fight back. Sure enough, Itachi's kick still couldn't reach Sasuke's body as he wished, and was immediately paralyzed by a powerful lightning bolt. At the same time, this lightning carried an extremely large force, pushing Itachi's body outward. Chidori. Sasuke's left hand once again flashed with electricity. He quickly turned around. His left hand in the middle jumped lightning, condensing into a head. The lightning spear stabbed straight towards Itachi. Itachi's body was now in a paralyzed state, pushed back into the air, unable to use any force. Because of that, he couldn't avoid it, and was pierced through the chest by the Chidori spear. But he did not show any painful expression. The corner of his mouth faintly revealed a smile. In an instant, Itachi's body turned pitch black, immediately transforming into countless crows. Black flying wings flying around. This is a clone? Sasuke's face was slightly frightened. He could not have thought that Itachi would use a black clone to fight him for so long. So, black crow, black feathers fluttering in the sky. The flock of black crows occupied the same place again, condensing into Itachi's face in the air. Sasuke, you become strong. Uchiha Shrine, I will wait for you over there. After Itachi finished speaking, without waiting for Sasuke to reply, he once again transformed into a crow and flew out. What does that smile mean? Naruto let those crows fly away and left, but still remembered in his mind, Tachi. Uchiha just had a smile on the corner of his mouth. Is this a joke? Not. That smile seemed to vaguely carry a hint of comfort. No matter what, I will personally kill you. Sasuke's eyes revealed a trace of determination. Killing all traitors in the entire clan is absolutely not allowed to exist in this world. Retired equals retired. Two red-robed figures stepped on tree trunks and quickly ran towards Sasuke. Sasuke, what happened? Seeing that Sasuke was fine, I breathed a sigh of relief. Yakushi Kabuto saw those black crow feathers on the ground. His glasses vaguely flashed a white light, as if he understood something. The local camp was not far from here. The two of them heard the fighting noise and immediately ran over. Sasuke shook his head. Nothing. It's Itachi Uchiha. Tachi Uchiha? Have you guys decided the winner? Zhong asked in surprise. At the same time, he turned his head to look around, as if he wanted to find Itachi's whereabouts. Is it a clone? Kabuto looked at Sasuke and asked. He followed that feather and already judged the method Itachi used. After Orochimaru was defeated by Itachi, he really did carefully research Itachi's information. Itachi is good at controlling the Black Crows. This kind of thing Orochimaru has recorded in the documents. Kabuto these past few years really brought Orochimaru everything for research. Won all over. Currently Kabuto, it can be said, has inherited everything from Orochimaru. And Itachi Uchiha's information was naturally stored in his mind. Sasuke also did not deny it, nodded and said, "Oh, that's right. He asked me to meet him at the Uchiha Shrine. Let's go. We will immediately head over there. Search the place. Uchiha Shrine?" Zhongta nodded. They had previously followed Sasuke to the place where Grandma Meow bought ninja tools. The location of the old lady cat is not far from the Uchiha Shrine. Roughly just half a day's journey can be arrived smoothly. Trongta and Sasuke both jumped up parallel, down towards the big tree. Ford, Yakushi Kabuto slowed down his steps a bit, following behind, staring at Sasuke's back. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but reveal a trace of a smile. Orochimaru-sama, you are indeed the greatest creator. I was thinking of making another resurrection plan for you. Fire Nation border village in a place. On the street, pedestrians are endless. On both sides of the street, there were quite a few street vendors shouting loudly, introducing themselves, featured snack or product. Suddenly, a group of people wearing white ninja jackets at the far side of the room in the middle of the connection continue to dodge and jump, finally stop at the mouth of the road. There were approximately 7 or 8 people in number, each wearing the Leaf Village Ninja symbol on their foreheads. Hitai 8, forehead treasure. Woof woof. Kiba Inuzuka immediately understood. Searching, you also found it, Kiba. Kakashi leads this squad. From the beginning, according to Tsunade's instructions, we went straight to take the land of the moon. After arriving at the moon country, they almost completely searched the place, but from beginning to end, no one found any trace of Sasuke's whereabouts. Fortunately, Noyachiquak is just a small country. Moreover, Kakashi's team has a large number of staff, so it doesn't take too much time on the other side. In the end, it still depends on Kiba and Akamaru's sharp sense of smell. Found out Sasuke had gone towards the Dain-Chi National Highway. Therefore, a group of people headed straight towards Dain-Chi-Quak. Traveling through the entire Tianji country, he finally arrived at the border of the Fire Country. Under the eyes, although still no harvest. But luckily Sasuke's whereabouts were found. Kakashi glanced at the team members and found that everyone had been traveling for many days, and their mental state was a bit sluggish. Good. Big brother, add some strength. Who knows? We might be able to find Sasuke's whereabouts very soon. Kakashi gave the crowd a cheer. Immediately, he reached out and bit his thumb, drawing a blood mark on his palm, and made hand seals with both hands. The art of spiritualism. At the moment, Kakashi squatted down and slapped the ground with one palm. Thump! The ground exploded completely white with mist. The mist quickly dispersed, revealing a group of hunting dogs with their tongues sticking out. These hunting dogs are of different breeds. There are large breeds of dogs, small breeds of dogs. But they also have a common characteristic. Like Kiba and Akamaru, he has an extremely sharp nose. Hey, Kakashi! Pack raised his meat claw and greeted Kakashi. Kakashi searched around for a while and finally pulled out a piece of clothing. This fragment was found from Sasuke's original headquarters and could be used to capture the aura on Sasuke's body. Pack, we are looking for Uchiha Sasuke. Then we will have to trouble you guys next. Leave it to me, no problem. Pack nodded, immediately stepping forward to sniff. The remaining 6 or 7 large and small ring-shaped dogs all formed a circle and came forward to sniff. Kakashi saw that he was almost ready, so he stood up and said to his teammates, to increase the efficiency of searching for people, next we will split into 2 groups and start exploring everywhere. Kiba and I are one. Tintin and Niji are in a group. Little Sakura is in the same group as me. Chino and Rock Lee are in the same group. Kakashi's arrangement was considered very reasonable. Each group has a person who is proficient in physical attacks and ninjutsu attacks. With the addition of the ring dog to help, the probability of being able to escape from danger will greatly increase. Yes, Kakashi-sensei. The team members nodded in agreement. Immediately, for groups inside, except for Kiba and the other group outside, the remaining 3 groups each brought 1 ring dog, or 2. Applause! Kakashi waved his hand. The team members dodged and jumped, turning into afterimages and disappearing from sight. Wave Country Hidden Village. Naruto at his house on the roof, leisurely sunbathing. It is now the beginning of winter, but because the country of waves is surrounded by sea, the weather is quite special. Winter is not so cold. The morning sunlight shines on the body, on the contrary makes people feel warm, comfortable, and pleasant. Naruto narrowed his eyes, lying on his old man's chair, looking extremely satisfied. Naruto-kun, come down here. I have something to tell you. Not long after, a female voice rang out from downstairs. Hinata. This voice was extremely familiar. Having been Naruto's friend for many years, he immediately heard who it was. How is it, Hinata? Naruto quickly stood up, went to the terrace next door, and looked back downstairs. Come down here. I'll take you to see someone. Hinata stood downstairs, constantly waving at Naruto, signaling Naruto to come downstairs. Naruto's place of residence is located near the outskirts of Minin Village. Behind this place is a large mountain. The surrounding houses are also relatively few. So, two people talking loudly like that, in turn, will not disturb other people. Here, Naruto agreed and jumped down from the table. The 5th floor's height descended straight down, and we were about to reach the 1st floor. Naruto's 2 feet attached to a layer of chakra membrane of light, clinging to the wall. Step on the wall, kick and run down. Meeting someone? Naruto stopped in front of Hinata and asked doubtfully. Hurry up and follow me. Hinata did not reply. She lifted Naruto's big hand, pulled him, and ran towards the main road. Hey, what are you doing? So mysterious. Naruto still wanted to ask, but Hinata turned her head and smiled mysteriously. You will know in a while. Telling you now won't be fun. Good. Naruto shook his head helplessly. Ninja running speed is very fast. Not many minutes later, Hinata pulled Naruto and went to the Minin Village reception hall. Just as he entered the gate, Naruto saw a somewhat familiar face. Light gray shoulder-length hair. Keep enough bangs cut to the forehead. 2 big eyes. Just looking at the side of the face, you can tell this girl has a delicate and beautiful appearance. A white long dress, making her already dazzling appearance, further add a special noble temperament. Even though the long dress seemed a bit loose, there was still no way to cover up that high, bulging chest. With just one glance, Naruto recognized that this girl was Harumi. Naruto was a bit confused. What exactly was the situation? Hinata brought herself to meet Harumi? The wife brought her husband, but almost became the 3rd woman? Naruto was completely confused, turned his head to look at Hinata beside him, and blinked vigorously at Harumi. Meaning, what the hell happened? Why did you bring me to meet her? How did you recruit her? In the eyes, the time between Harumi sending the letter and that day had already passed 4 days. Naruto originally thought that Harumi's matter had come to an end here. Who would have thought that just 4 days had passed? Why would Harumi come knocking? Although he didn't say anything, Hinata and Naruto had been together for such a long time, and could immediately see what Naruto's constipated expression meant. She came close to Naruto's ear and whispered, I called her here. Didn't I tell you before? I really wanted to take a look at her. I can also help you check her out and see if you can let me adopt this woman. What? Naruto's head immediately boiled. Hinata's words are in agreement. Although Naruto and Harumi were ambiguous before, it was true that Naruto did not handle it properly and did not have time to explain clearly to Harumi. But at that time Naruto also had a deep sense of guilt and did not think of wanting to take Harumi or anything. Hinata, what do you mean? Why do you always want to send me to other women's places? Naruto asked in a small voice. Hinata's face turned red, glaring at Naruto. Isn't it because you want too much, Tintin who can stand it? Isn't this just the same as the girl you like? Why don't you let her come and accept your torture too? Naruto immediately felt upset. He naturally knew what Hinata meant by wanting too much. But if it's not like that, is it okay to put such a beautiful woman by Hinata's side? Who can stand this? It's just that Naruto never thought of it. Hinata's views on monogamy, it turns out, are not so strong. Could it be that the concept of husband and wife system in this ninja world is a little different from other places? You should take a look at her first. What a good chat. I talked to her for a while before. My impression of her is really not bad. Hinata pushed Naruto's arm, signaling Naruto to come in. Naruto! Hinata! You guys go back! Perhaps hearing the movement of the door, Harumi turned her head to look back. Seeing Naruto and Hinata, her face showed delight. That's right. Why are you here? Naruto smiled awkwardly. Not knowing why, this feeling made her feel very uncomfortable inside. It's not that Naruto doesn't like Harumi. It's just that being together with these 2 girls always feels a bit strange. Harumi, you don't need it. Sit down and talk. Hinata smiled and greeted, then immediately pushed Naruto aside and went to sit down on the sofa opposite Harumi. Yes. Harumi smiled all over her face and immediately sat back down on the sofa. Seeing Naruto at this moment, the tension and anticipation in her heart instantly vanished into thin air, leaving only joy. She didn't hope too far. As long as she could see this man, she felt it was enough. Naruto was pushed by Hinata, sat down opposite Harumi, awkwardly looked at Harumi and smiled. Hi, why are you here? Harumi said. Didn't I say in the letter before that I wanted to send some Thai specialties? No, I just had time, so I personally brought someone to bring it here. The convoy stopped outside the room. Naruto was stunned. Just as he entered, He saw a long horse-drawn carriage stopped on the street outside the living room building. Naruto thought that the five of them were leading people outside to do some shopping. So I didn't pay too much attention, didn't think that was what Harumi brought. Like this? Now you have also inherited the throne. Can't you just relax? Naruto asked. Hinata glared at Naruto. This is what straight male cancer problem. People all inherit the throne. Naturally, the public affairs are extremely busy. Every day must deal with national affairs. But isn't it because she misses you in her heart that she came here without any trouble? This kind of thing, if you pay attention, you can see it. However, Hinata also knew that Naruto had always been relatively ignorant when it came to love, so she didn't say anything more. But Harumi did not hesitate at all, smiling and saying, "It's still fine, but Hinata sent someone to the kingdom of Tai Chi to give me the news, and at the same time invited me to come play. So I came." Naruto turned his head to look at Hinata. After a long time this girl still let Harumi come. Hinata smiled and continued, "Harumi, we are all very happy that you can come. Naruto already told me what happened between you two." Harumi's heart clenched, her face flushed, she looked at Hinata at a loss. This road is from Tai Chi Quack. Harumi is together with that female messenger ninja on the way here. On the carriage, Harumi also inquired about the matter related to Naruto with that female ninja. She knew Hinata was Naruto's girlfriend and also his married wife. Harumi wondered why Hinata invited her to Minin Village, but she just held the thought of being able to see Naruto again, and didn't have too many bad thoughts. Present, Hinata said Naruto had informed her about the matter. She immediately realized Hinata was just the one who kissed Naruto. Hinata? Harumi's face turned red, wanting to explain, but not knowing how to open her mouth. Hinata smiled and comforted. "You don't need to be nervous. I don't want to blame you. Moreover, I also know you really like Naruto-kun, right?" Harumi's face became even redder. Not knowing what to do, her eyes widened, looking at Hinata for a while, then at Naruto for a while. It was as if saying, "Are you too serious? How could you suddenly attack like this? I'm not mentally prepared." But seeing Hinata's eyes filled with anticipation and laughter, she knew this was a great opportunity to express her feelings. Although it is said that the kings of great countries will have 3 wives and 4 concubines, ordinary people still maintain monogamy. Harumi is able to accept 3 wives and 4 concubines, but it is rare for her to encounter such a generous girl as Hinata. Immediately, she no longer hesitated, blushed slightly and nodded, her voice like a mosquito's, softly yes said. That's good. I'll help Naruto-kun take charge of this. He's willing to accept you." Hinata giggled. Naruto's face was full of regret. "I just don't have human rights. Can you come and ask me what I mean?" But Hinata obviously didn't care about Naruto's gaze, stood up and walked forward, grabbed Harumi's arm, and pulled her. Immediately, Hinata pulled Naruto's big hand, holding the 3 hands together. "From now on, the 3 of us can be together. Living together is great." Harumi kept her head down, her face already seen by Kurenai, all the way to the back of Kenbo's ear. She quietly raised her head to look at Naruto. "Like this? Is it really possible? I have no intention of participating in your feelings. I also don't know if Naruto-kun likes me or not." Hinata pushed Naruto's arm a little. "What are you doing in a daze? Show some attitude." Naruto cried without tears, "What is this?" But hearing Harumi say such unconfident words, Naruto still felt a bit soft-hearted. If he really rejected her, right in front of her, it would definitely make her very uncomfortable. "Harumiya, I don't dislike you. Moreover, I also didn't think that there would be such a misunderstanding between us before. It's just good." Naruto had not finished speaking when he was interrupted by Hinata. Hinata made a pause gesture with both hands and said to Harumi, "Listen, I don't dislike you. That means I have good feelings for you. Don't worry. Feelings can be slowly cultivated in the future." "Yes." Harumi nodded vigorously, feeling extremely happy. If it really could be like Hinata said, even if she were to throw away the Tai Chi Kingdom's throne, she would be very willing. As she spoke, Hinata clung to Harumi's ear and whispered something. Harumi from the beginning still had a serious expression listening to the appearance, but as she went further, her originally receding face once again turned red. Both Naruto and I avoided each other's gazes and quickly lowered our heads. "Hinata, what bad things are you saying about me? I'm still in the game," Naruto said in frustration. Hinata glared at Naruto. "What's wrong with you being here?" This is a whisper between 2 female students. "I can't just tell you." Speaking, Hinata also did not pay attention to Naruto's surprised expression. Pulling Harumi's little hand, he ran towards the outside of the room. Harumi, let's go. I'll take you to Minin Village to have fun. You came in such a hurry last time, you definitely didn't take a good look around here. Ah, okay then. Harumi was dragged towards the room and walked out. She turned her head to look at Naruto, somewhat at a loss, and waved at him. Naruto was very upset, not knowing why these two women were so compatible. Instead, they pushed him aside. Fire Nation border. Uchiha Shrine, cave, several thousand meters outside. Uchiha Sasuke, Timin Jongta, Yakushi Kabuto, three people, stepped on the roof and quickly jumped. As the distance to the shrine got closer and closer, Sasuke felt a vague stirring in his heart. Killing Itachi Uchiha. Avenging his parents and clansmen. This is a wish that has been hidden in Sasuke's heart for many years. Or rather, this is also the only reason why Sasuke continues to live. These past few years of losing sleep and eating, practicing asceticism, were all to wait for this day. Retired. Suddenly, more than 10 meters ahead outside, a black-robed figure jumped out from downstairs, blocking Sasuke and the other three's path. This person carried a white cloth covering a large sword on his shoulder. The grin at that moment was full of shark-like fangs. What a pity! The path after that only allows Itachi to pass. The others can only stop here. This guy is Kisame Hashigaki. Yakushi Kabuto's glasses flashed with white light. Although he had never met Kisame Hashigaki, he had seen some information about this person in Orochimaru's archives. Trong said, the traitor ninja of the Mist Village, inheriting the famous watermelon Samahata greatsword, is named Kisame Hashigaki. Sasuke, let's go out and defeat that touchy guy. Then run to the shrine on the other side. Sasuke shook his head. No, I came to you guys as a help. The original intention was to prevent other people from joining Itachi and I in the fight. Pay attention to me. Kabuto, you two wait here. Give me some time, we can solve it very quickly. This is completely non-negotiable. After saying that, Sasuke directly jumped forward. Following Kisame Hashigaki's side through, straight to the several thousand meters outside the Uchiha Shrine rushed away. It can be resolved in just a little while. As expected of Itachi's little brother, these words are really quite confident. Kisame Hashigaki grinned. Kisame had some understanding of Itachi's strength. The two people once also, because of the friction of the corners of their mouths, broke out a bit of internal strife. Although there is no real sense of fighting. But Kisame knew very well that Itachi's true strength was actually hidden. Itachi is such a person. I'm afraid this newly grown-up Uchiha brat can't handle it. Kisame Hashigaki, huh? Also have some good stuff. Want to let him see a little bit. Hum. Yakushi Kabuto muttered to himself, letting out a cold laugh. He has been accompanying Sasuke through these years of growth. Discovered a special secret. Sasuke's body sometimes vaguely absorbs Orochimaru's aura. And the source of this aura was the cursed seal on Sasuke's shoulder. Right after following the Moon Country base to the Land Country Orochimaru base, Yakushi Kabuto threw the data warehouse inside those experimental materials. Understand Orochimaru's true secret of immortality. Orochimaru can use his soul and cells to inhabit other people's bodies, even if his main body is dead. Can also be slowly revived through long periods of time, devouring the chakra seal. Only this resurrection time. If it cannot be through external help, it may need several decades. In other words, those ninja who were branded with a curse seal all became Orochimaru's dormitory. After Yakushi Kabuto discovered this secret, his first reaction was to use Sasuke to let Orochimaru be resurrected. But through these years of growth, Sasuke's strength has indeed reached a terrifying level. At least in Yakushi Kabuto's eyes. He had no way to easily capture Sasuke. Therefore, Yakushi Kabuto prepared to borrow this opportunity. Borrow Sasuke and Itachi's help to kill each other. Sit back and reap the benefits. By then, we can think of a way to resurrect Orochimaru, and we can get the Sharingan from Itachi and Sasuke, with their impure earth reincarnation body. For Yakushi Kabuto, this was a multitasking plan. But at this time, Yakushi Kabuto still chose to listen to Sasuke's arrangement. On this rooftop, he was in a stalemate with Kisame Hashigaki. In that battle between Sasuke and Itachi Uchiha, Yakushi Kabuto wanted to come no matter what. But the time to go is not now, but must wait until they both suffer losses. You guy, That kind of gaze really makes people feel uncomfortable. Kisame Hashigaki took down the Samahata greatsword on his body, pointed it at Yakushi Kabuto, and shouted softly. After Sasuke left, Kabuto still used a kind of prey-looking gaze, looking him up and down. This made Kisame feel extremely uncomfortable. He really wanted to immediately rush up and use Samahata's greatsword to chop this guy into human pieces. Is that so? I just happened to prepare a special gift for you. Yakushi Kabuto is not weak at all. He is not some little guy now. He had long ago completed the practice of Ryukyudo, Dragon Earth Cave, Immortal Art. His strength compared to anyone in the Akatsuki organization. He would not fall into a disadvantage. Fire Nation border, a dense forest inside. Kakashi squad, and the others communicated via radio. Although from the beginning, it was 2 squad members searching for Sasuke's whereabouts. But after Pac tracked down Sasuke's aura, he summoned everyone back. At this time, Kakashi's squad of 8 people had already started to set off towards the Uchiha Shrine. Kakashi-sensei. Should we call that Naruto guy over now? If we can get him to activate his shadow clone and conduct a large-scale search, we might be able to speed up our progress. Kiba Inuzuka turned his head to look at Kakashi and asked. Kakashi shook his head. No. Pac just said that Sasuke's aura here is still very weak. We are probably still very far from his location. The Wave Country encountered an Akatsuki attack. There might be many urgent matters to deal with right now. Until the crucial moment arrives, we should not bother him. Kiba Inuzuka nodded. Is that so? This is also good. Little Sakura along this road, still not saying a word, but seeing the distance between Sasuke and her getting closer and closer. Her heart became more and more unstable. What does Sasuke look like now? Wait until he finds Sasuke. Will he really be willing to return with his group? Still, Sasuke is willing to follow Naruto back to the Land of Waves? One question after another arose in little Sakura's heart. Big brother, stop. Be careful. Kakashi suddenly spoke, startling little Sakura awake. At this time, Kakashi's squad was more than 10 meters ahead. On a large tree branch, there stood a man wearing a black robe. This man was wearing a tangerine-patterned Rasen mask on his face, quietly looking over the crowd. Ahaha, so it's you guys from Konoha? I really didn't think I'd run into you guys here. Toby scratched his head, smiling somewhat honestly. Kakashi's team also stopped, looking over suspiciously at the main hall. People come to investigate. That outfit. Is this guy Akatsuki? Kiba Inuzuka said in a deep voice. Woof woof. Akamaru barked twice, then bared his teeth at the masked man. Be careful. Big guy? Akatsuki people's abilities are very strange. Kakashi whispered to his teammates. At the same time, he already had Fudo's expression, commanded Shino and Yamanaka to protect the 2 people, and then walked towards the masked person beside him. What the hell does he want to do? Little Sakura frowned, took out the pair of black gloves and put them on, entering combat mode. Wide-eye. Hyuga Niji's eyes narrowed, veins bulging around his eyelids, as if he was trying to use clairvoyance. Tricks. See through the masked person's identity. This is Sharingan. Under Niji's gray-white vision, one could see that the masked person's right eye had a large patch of red chakra circulating. What? Niji, can you be sure? Kakashi's face was slightly frightened, and he quickly asked. Niji nodded vigorously. Yes, this special type of eye chakra, I only have 2 individuals. I have seen one before. One is Kakashi-sensei, one is not there yet. Uchiha Sasuke, the traitor to Konoha. The masked man held onto the tree trunk and shook his head helplessly. It really is meaningless. I originally wanted to have fun with you guys. I didn't think I would reveal my insides so quickly. Before the masked man could finish speaking, 4 or 5 meters to the right, there was a large tree. Receiver suddenly found a bald man. He is the 8th class Hyuga Hinata Reserve member, Yamanaka clan's patron saint. The mind-body transmission technique of ninja technique. Min Fuke used both hands to reverse his mood, aimed at the masked person, and immediately activated his technique. Secret technique of Jade. The masked man crossed to the left. Shino Aburame followed the big tree behind silently. Body scan. His 2 hands were filled with black insects flying around. As the 2 hands moved, tiny black insects danced and wriggled. Masked people jostling to go. You guys from Konoha are really cunning. You actually took advantage of the moment when I was talking to sneak attack me. The masked man seemed to have a hindrance in detecting danger. He was so scared that he gesticulated, his head moving left and right, as if he had forgotten how to fight back. But Be careful not to turn around, and the jade worm will simultaneously rush towards him, away from him. Body less than 2 meters time. His body miraculously sank down and disappeared into the trunk of the tree. The mind transmission missed and hit Shino's group of insects. Immediately, Yamanaka blessed the soul that could not return to the body relied on. Countdown tree trunk fell down, fell into a coma. How could this be? Disappear? Kiba Inuzuka exclaimed. He had already brought Akamaru and quietly groped his way up, preparing to give Kiba a Kiba split. But now, the masked man suddenly disappeared, leaving the tycoon momentarily a bit confused. Don't know how. Haha, so dangerous, almost got hit. The masked man once again emerged from the side of the tree trunk, scratching his head and smiling foolishly. Kibble information. Kiba had already gathered his strength and was waiting to launch it. He immediately bent down and rushed forward, his body on the ground. The air rapidly twisted and turned into a whirlpool. Heading straight for the masked man collides past. Boom, boom, tilde, tilde, tilde. 3 talented people surrounded the big tree. Kiba hit the central trunk, missing a large piece. But this move of his did not touch the masked person. The crowd just saw it, directly following the masked person on the body. Through and through. Why is this possible? Your Leaf Village completely doesn't give people a chance to prepare. The masked man just spoke, not knowing when he grabbed a tree branch in his hand, a little towards Kiba's head knock. Bastard! Little Sakura didn't know when, but was already standing on top of the giant tree. She suddenly shouted. A punch strongly struck towards the masked man's head. A loud bang. The fist once again passed through the masked person's body. Little Sakura's monster power fist repeatedly pounded like crazy on the branches of the big tree. The tree trunk broke on the spot with a loud sound and fell to the ground with a loud bang. Kiba, little Sakura, go back first. Kakashi discovered a little trick and quickly shouted. However, he did not participate in the battle just now, but chose to wrap around the past and bring back the Yamanaka Ming's body. Yamanaka's blessing used mind-body transmission to miss. The soul needed a long time to return to the main body. Therefore, at this time when Yamanaka's blessing was at its weakest, Kakashi chose to protect. Teammate, Kakashi-sensei, that guy is here. What happened? Little Sakura frowned, not understanding why her group's attacks were ineffective. Kakashi shook his head. I'm not very sure, but this is probably his kind of ability, big guy. I have an idea. As he spoke, Kakashi carried the Yamanaka amulet on his back and greeted the crowd. Negotiate. Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, Sakura Haruno, Hyuganiji, and the others. All of them came forward, Kakashi beside him, whispering and discussing. How cunning. Discussing tactics here, the big shots came to the end. What are you talking about? The masked man scratched his head, somewhat confusedly moving forward to touch his ear. But from such a great distance, his actions looked a bit funny, or rather comical. Mr. Tycoon, right now, Kakashi shouted, raised his hand to cover the left eye of Ninja Hitayate, forehead treasure, revealing a fresh Kurenai, 3-pronged jewel Sharingan. Finished speaking, Kakashi carried Yamanaka on his back and took the lead in a certain direction, galloping. Yes, the remaining 7 also responded in agreement, dodging in different directions and flying straight ahead. The masked man's purpose was very clear. He wanted to hinder his own team. Person who advances in footwork. If the masked person wants to try a counterattack, Kakashi will activate his left eye Kamui, turning the opponent's head downward. The masked man cried out in surprise, his head swaying left and right, momentarily not knowing which one to chase after. Very quickly, the masked person's body once again hid inside the tree and disappeared without a trace. Disgusting. What the hell is wrong with this guy? People just rely on that supernatural ninjutsu, can block their way to everyone. Uchiha Shrine outside. Kisame Hashigaki and Yakushi Kabuto struggled for a moment. After receiving Yakushi Kabuto's provocation, Kisame did not hesitate at all, carrying Samahata's great sword and flew straight towards the past. Itachi only said to let him stop his younger brother's teammates. He didn't say, not to let me kill his younger brother's teammates. Yakushi Kabuto's body exuded a feeling that made Kisame feel extremely uncomfortable. He felt the need to erase this feeling. Why me? Let's deal with him together. Yakushi's horns raised, and he laughed coldly. I understand. Zhongtan nodded, activating the immortal power within his body. Circle after circle of black dots rapidly spread all over the body. As the seal opened, my left arm suddenly expanded, and a cannon tube grew from the back of my forearm. The spirit technique of impure earth reincarnation. Yakushi Kabuto clasped his hands in salute. The roof tiles suddenly moved, and 3 coffins rushed out from the roof, blocking Yakushi Kabuto's path. Safe. As the coffin lid made a loud noise, one by one the coffins opened. 3 people appeared inside, causing Kisame Hashigaki to have a terrified expression. He suddenly stopped, his face filled with surprise. This is... Kisame. You bastard. How dare you be so unlucky as to betray me? The first to come out of the coffin was a giant, fat figure. He had long tangerine-colored hair that fell to his shoulders, and his face was full of black patterns. He was Kisame Hashigaki, the former leader of the Umbu. The first member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, Fuguki Suikazan. Kisame Hashigaki holds this Samahata great sword in his hand, which was snatched from Fuguki Suikazan. Immediately after, the 2 remaining people in the coffin also came out one after another, looking indifferently at Kisame Hashigaki across from them. The second person had a thin body, a head of light yellow hair, and wore a Mist Village dark mask on his face. He is also one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist, the owner of the Nuabari longsword, Kuryu Kushimaru. The third person wore a green kimono robe, kept a head of long red hair, held 2 pills in her fist, had a mouth full of sharp teeth, and looked like a woman. She is also one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist. The second master of the Raiga sword, Ringo Aimuri. Humph! You really like to talk nonsense. You clearly sold me out. I couldn't get it and killed you. Kisame Hashigaki grinned. For Fuguki Suikazan, Kisame still holds some grudge in his heart until now. Kisame was previously considered a special mission executor for the Mist Village. Eliminate the entire class of people who are considered adults. Finally, the executor eliminates his companions, taking the village secret mission as his first choice. Kisame, no matter whether he was dealing with superiors or subordinates, had no direction in life to speak of. He even once wondered why he had to do such a thing. Why did this pair of hands want to be covered with the blood of his comrades, and finally give orders to Fuguki Suikazan, and even want to sell to him? But fortunately, Kisame followed the cruel rules of the Mist Village and went out. After joining Akatsuki organization, there were no trustworthy people around him. The Akatsuki organization's principles and ideals were carried out, and the Eye of the Moon plan was completed, which made Kisame's heart flutter. Perhaps that perfect world can really prevent the ninja world from suffering from this kind of long-term war. It is possible to end up in the middle of the village, long-term playing with all kinds of schemes and schemes. Kisame? I have never seen this guy before. Am I not dead? Why did I appear here? Ringo Aimuri asked doubtfully. She really remembered that she had died. Kuryu Kushimaru raised his hands and took a look, vaguely sensing something was wrong. Who knows? But our current state? Can it really be considered as a resurrection? Sunban acupuncture. Fuguki Suikazan angry face. He seemed to hate Kisame Hashigaki for sneak attacking him, and was the first to launch an attack. A head of long tangerine-colored hair suddenly grew long, forming a large waterfall in front of the body. Tiny steel needles shot out from the waterfall like hair, shooting towards Kisame Hashigaki. Ding ding kung kung. Kisame Hashigaki held Samahata in his hand, swinging it left and right in front of him to block. Sunban and Samahata's blades collided, continuously scattering all over the rooftops. Originally with this density of Sunban steel needles, Kisame Hashigaki's greatsword was unable to completely protect itself. But Samahata greatsword has a special ability. Its body can grow larger. Kisame Hashigaki stubbornly resisted this wave of Sunban needles, but was stunned and did not retreat even half a step. You two, come with me and clean that guy up. Fuguki Suikazan shouted to the 2 people beside him. Ringo Aimuri snorted lightly, turned his head away in disdain. I don't have time to play around with you guys. You're all a bunch of guys I don't like. Kuryu Kushimaru also turned around and headed towards the rooftop of the suburbs, as if preparing to leave. Puffer fish. You and his matter will be solved by yourself. I won't let Sora help you. Yakushi Kabuto laughed coldly and said to himself, But I can't hold you back. As he spoke, Yakushi Kabuto stood in front of him with one hand, forming a hand seal. Ringo Aimuri and Kuryu Kushimaru both immediately turned their eyes dull, standing there in shock, as if all thoughts were taken away. After Orochimaru's impure world reincarnation, Kabuto Yakushi had a new transformation. Now drawing a map of the rotation, there is no need to bury the spell deeply into the reincarnation master's brain. It can also be controlled. Although it is said that having a control spell will make the power stronger. But at this time, Kabuto only needs to control 3 people. There is absolutely no need for that. Holding the rein from the benefit and Kuririn Kushimuro, the 2 of them ran slowly to stand beside Fuguki Suikazan. Immediately, the 2 of them took out a scroll from behind their backs and opened it with a swish. As for me, I started to make hand gestures with my hands. The art of spiritualism. Make 2 people single-handedly hit their own parts of the scroll seal above. Break 2 hours. 2 white mists exploded. The Nuabari longsword and the Kiba lightning saber appeared in the hands of the 2 people. These 2 each have their own sword rings, and their strength will immediately increase by several levels. Although Fuguki Suikazan does not have a sword ring, but the 3 of them combine to deal with Kisame Hashigaki alone. They have a very high chance of winning. Kabuto! This is... Tranta was a bit confused. Although he opened the cursed seal, he still hadn't lost his mind. Yakushi Kabuto had never used this kind of ability before, but now the 3 of them came out, which made me slightly shocked. Respect me? You continue to stay here and work together with the 3 of them to deal with Kisame Hashigaki. I'll go help Sasuke get busy. Yakushi Kabuto instructed. Jonta was a little embarrassed. Really? Didn't Sasuke say that we shouldn't interfere? Yakushi Kabuto laughed sinisterly. Don't worry, trust me, I will be reasonable. Itachi Uchiha is not that easy to deal with. Sasuke may be in great danger. I must help him now. Tranta nodded. Is that so? Then okay. Leave this side to me. Hearing that Sasuke might be in danger, Jonta no longer hesitated. If Sasuke died, then he really didn't know who else could suppress that urge to kill at the slightest thing. Who? Yakushi Kabuto jumped down from the roof, chose a direction, and ran towards the other side of the Uchiha shrine. You bastard! Kisame Hashigaki immediately had difficulty breathing, wanting to rush forward to stop Yakushi Kabuto's actions. But the 7 swordsmen of the Mist Group of 3 also will not give Kisame Hashigaki the chance. This association, the 3 of them simultaneously dodged and blocked Kisame Hashigaki in front. Boom, boom, tilde, tilde, tilde. Ringo Amiri grabbed Raiga with both palms and lifted him up. Immediately, the 2 Raiga blades' lightning blades tips flickered, and a ball of lightning the size of a thigh slashed towards Kisame Hashigaki's face. Kisame Hashigaki was forced to retreat and dodge. The lightning struck the roof, immediately causing a large hole to be broken. Lightning release ninja blade? This time it might be difficult. Itachi, the other side, can only rely on you yourself. Kisame Hashigaki tightly gripped the 9 Amahata greatsword in his hand, his face filled with condensation. Important. Lightning release is an extremely powerful suppressive ability against water release. Kisame Hashigaki here wants to face 4 people at the same time. Even if he can defeat 4 people, I'm afraid it will still take a lot of time. The rooftop of the suburbs is more than a few dozen meters. A large aloe vera suddenly emerged from the ground. According to the aloe leaves open to both sides, revealing inside a half-black, half-white Haku figure. Zetsu Great looked at Yakushi Kabuto's distant back, slightly furrowing his eyebrows. Black Zetsu said, Kabuto, that bastard. He really has intentions towards Itachi and 9 Asuk Sharingan. What do you think? White Zetsu asked. What to do now? The 2 of us are not strong enough. I'm afraid the past can't stop Kabuto. Moreover, the battle between Sasuke and Itachi on the other side has also entered the climax stage. Black Zetsu said, First inform that Toby guy, give up. He chased past the dormitory, you too. Sharingan cannot be thrown away so easily. Fire Nation border in a dense forest. The masked man once again emerged from a giant tree. Standing on a tree branch, looking down at the crowd from above, holding a stick and smiling. He, wanting to break through this line of defense, is not that simple. Even though I am. Akatsuki is a new member, but can still hold you back for a short time. People. Boom boom tilde tilde tilde. Just as Kakashi and the others gathered together again. They looked at the masked man. Don't know what to do at the right time. Outside, dozens of kilometers away, wave after wave of fire swept up. From such a great distance. Although there was no way to feel that heat wave. But just relying on 2 eyes, but still could see very clearly. What to do now? Kakashi-sensei, it seems like there was a fight over there. It wasn't Sasuke. That guy is fighting with someone. Shino Aburame asked with a frown. Why'd I? Hyuga Niji's eyes narrowed, and he opened his Byakugan once again, intending to observe the situation from afar. With the white eye's farthest vision range, there is no way to see clearly. Outside the situation, dozens of kilometers. Hyuga Niji, after these years of training, Byakugan's vision range has reached about 5 miles. With these eyes, he could understand the situation ahead better than Kakashi and the others. What the hell is this? Niji, how is it? Kakashi asked, frowning slightly. The next day, Niji said, there is no way to describe it. It seems like there is a black flame, right now devouring another flame. The distance here is still too far. I can only see a little bit of the fire's clues. I also can't make an accurate judgment. Kiba Inuzuka said, Kakashi-sensei, don't hesitate any longer. Call that Naruto guy over and let him help deal with this masked guy. If this continues any longer, I'm afraid it will be disadvantageous to us. Ah! Kakashi nodded. His heart was also very clear. Now is not the same. This masked man competition time. If Naruto could come over to help, the group that wanted to break through the defense line wouldn't need to waste too much time. Speaking, Kakashi took out Katsuyu from his bag and placed her in front of him, saying, Katsuyu, please inform Naruto to come here as soon as possible. Tell him that we have found Sasuke's whereabouts and need to send reinforcements immediately. Yes, please leave it to me, Mr. Kakashi. Katsuyu nodded, immediately sending a message to his clone. More than 10 meters away, standing on the branch of a large tree, Tobi's face under the mask showed a hint of gloom. He ran here for 2 purposes. The first purpose, it was to stop this group of Konoha ninja from destroying the Uchiha brothers' fight, because Itachi had long since disowned him. Having Sasuke appear in Itachi's place was undoubtedly a good thing for Akatsuki. As for the second purpose, the masked man wished to regain another Sharingan for himself. Kamui Dojutsu is extremely powerful. He just holds this one eye and has already approached achieving invincibility. But this light is still lacking a lot, because the current Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is growing too fast. If you can't hold back the remaining eye, use dual Kamui power. He knew there was no way he could win against the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. The Ten-Tails Resurrection, the Eye of the Moon plan absolutely cannot have any flaws. He must maximize his abilities and increase the strength of the Akatsuki organization. This form of capturing the tailed bee seal can make the task go much more smoothly. Murmur. Suddenly, a masked man appeared on a tree branch with a white half-body. He is the white Zetsu clone body. Naruto then ran to the main office to see if Haku needed any help. Therefore, Naruto did not hesitate at all and immediately ran over. Kakashi-sensei, what the hell happened? Where is Sasuke? Naruto asked. Physical attack is ineffective? Naruto was stunned. Only then did he turn his head to look in the direction Kakashi pointed. Seeing the familiar masked figure, Naruto was a little frightened. Isn't this Obito, Uchiha? It was Kakashi who would make excuses every time he was late and come to give flowers to commemorate that guy. Poor Kakashi, still in a daze even now. Again, do you want to expose Obito Uchiha's identity right now? Naruto raised his chin and wondered. But the masked man opposite opened his mouth first and said, Ah, the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki finally appeared. With this, the mission of blocking the attack on our side can be considered officially over. Zetsu, great. Let's go. Let's go settle things over there. Good. White Zetsu nodded, his body sinking into the ground. The masked man in front of the space appeared. Rasen twisted for a moment. His body was slowly sucked into it and disappeared. His eyes stared at Kakashi, and he said in a deep voice, Kakashi Hatake, the burden of that Eye of Power must be very great for you. Carrying the burden of killing your teammates in your heart and living in this world filled with evil until now. Kakashi's face was slightly frightened. The masked man obviously had a hidden meaning in his words. Kakashi used the lightning cutter to mistakenly kill Rin earlier. It was truly the biggest burden he had to bear in his heart in this life. There are many things that do not belong to you. Next time we meet, I will bring it back. The masked person's body was sucked into the void, leaving only a mask. When he said the last sentence, his voice couldn't even be transmitted outside. It just reverberated within the independent space filled with Kamui stones. Exactly. That I was the one he gave Kakashi as a gift before, as a gift for his promotion to a shinobi. Maybe Kakashi, but that useless eye protects Rin well. Even though Kakashi didn't intentionally kill Rin, he was framed by the Kirigakure ninja. But regardless, Rin was dead. Now, only by holding back his gaze and obtaining the power of the twin Kamui can he have a chance to take down the Nine Tails and complete the plan of the Eye of the Moon. Also talented, created a world with Rin. In the woods, Naruto and Kakashi's squad saw the masked man just leave, and there was nothing they could do. The masked man's Kamui activation speed was also not full. Even if Naruto wanted to activate Hiraishin close range, it probably wouldn't be that easy. I'm sorry, Kakashi-sensei, for causing you trouble. Leaning on Kakashi on Yamanaka's back, he finally woke up. The secret technique of mind-body transmission failed, and the soul was unable to return to the body for a short time. But now, about 5 minutes have passed, and the blessing has already recovered. It's fine if it's okay. Kakashi revealed a gentle smile, gently placing the talisman on Yamanaka's back. Really? That masked guy just farted like that for half a day? Naruto just arrived and scared him away. Kiba Inuzuka looked at the place where the masked man disappeared. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but show a trace of a smile. He felt more and more that to have a guy of the same level as Naruto was truly too good. Naruto! Sasuke-kun is over there. Let's go over there immediately. Little Sakura's heart was worried about Sasuke's safety. She jumped forward and stood beside Naruto and said, I know, everyone let's go together. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto nodded. The Uchiha temple on the other side was filled with flames. Even though it was so far away, one could still vaguely see the flames. It's not hard to guess that this is Sasuke fighting with Itachi. Yes, all members advance at full speed. Kakashi nodded, waved his hand, and the first one flew straight towards the other side. The rest followed closely behind, dodging and jumping up the giant tree. Fire release great fireball technique. Fire release great fireball technique. Uchiha Shrine. Itachi Uchiha and Uchiha Sasuke, two brothers, in the room after a desperate round of illusionary technique duel. Finally, take Sasuke's other eyes and discover Itachi, Tsukuyomi, Moon Poison, and finish. Of course, this is just what Sasuke thinks. In reality, Itachi only weakened this Tsukuyomi, Moon Poison, technique, intentionally letting Sasuke discover it. He wanted to exhaust Sasuke's chakra, allowing the Orochimaru hidden within Sasuke's body to be resurrected through the Cursed Seal. It can be said to be tiring. After the illusionary technique duel, it was another round of Uchiha Shuriken duel. There is no distinction between the two, now that the attack has reached the roof. Each of the Uchiha clan members who used it knows fire release ninjutsu. Use the great fireball technique to fight. Finally, the two brothers clash fireball for the third time. Still taking Sasuke's fireball one step further, the fire force crushed Itachi's fireball, undulating towards Itachi's side. The previous 2 times Itachi couldn't win with fireballs, mainly because he used clones to fight. But this time there was a difference. Itachi used his true form to fight, but still could not win. Just because of this his body was ravaged by illness. It was almost reaching its limit. Just when he used the fireball, he spat out a large mouthful of blood, just because he was trying to hold on. It was that belief in his heart that supported him, preventing him from falling down just like that. Boom boom. Look at the big fireball hitting opposite, raising hot heat waves. Itachi Uchiha also did not have any confusion. His right eye had already been tightly closed together, a large amount of chakra converging on his right eye. In the end, the fireball was less than 3 meters away from his body. His eyelids flowed down a stream of blood tears, suddenly opened his right eye. Right eye force launch. A large patch of black flame also shot out, blocking the incoming fireball. Bring the big fireball back. Itachi still did not stop using his psychic powers, glaring at that bloodshot right eye, his gaze continuously chasing Sasuke. Hideous. Sasuke tried his best to escape, dodging and jumping left and right, trying to use the body flicker technique to avoid Amaterasu's pursuit. Black smoke followed closely behind Sasuke. The large black-tiled roof and stone walls were all burned by the black smoke, giving off thick black smoke. Hey! In the end, Sasuke still couldn't escape Amaterasu's pursuit. The lower half of her body was covered in Amaterasu's black flames. The black flame rapidly spread, burning Sasuke until he let out a painful scream, lying face down on the ground, and stopped struggling in less than a moment. Cough, cough, cough. Itachi knelt on the ground, hands covering his mouth, coughing violently. Mouthfuls of fresh blood continuously flowed out from his hand. His face turned as pale as paper. Just now, overusing his right eye's power put a huge burden on his body. Already very weak body, once again seriously consumed. Ho ho! Itachi Uchiha panted heavily, trying to suppress his surging blood. He once again moved away from the hand covering his right eye, allowing his gaze to focus on Sasuke's body. At this time, Sasuke's lower half and back were burned until completely black. Lying on the ground for a moment, as if he had lost consciousness. Itachi's right eye stopped, forcing the dojutsu to be cancelled, causing the black flame on Sasuke's body to disappear without a trace. Immediately, Itachi slowly stepped forward. Turn around and squat down, lift your hand to grab Sasuke behind the neck and lift him up. Sasuke's body that was caught suddenly turned into mud, sliding down, turning into a snake skin corpse. But just now Sasuke was lying down. On the ground was cut a person's head wide and narrow gap, straight leading to below. This is Orochimaru ninjutsu. Itachi's face was slightly frightened. He had a premonition of an extremely intense danger coming from under his feet. He did not hesitate to dodge back and jump out. Fire release Great Dragon Fire Technique. Sasuke's voice rang out from below. During these 3 years, Sasuke really learned the transformation technique at Yakushi Kabuto's place. Dissolve more than half of the body's chakra. Break free from the next layer of the outer shell, allowing the original injured body to completely close. Although the chakra consumption is very high. But this technique is the one that Sasuke has researched in recent years to be the best type of ninjutsu to deal with Amaterasu. Taking advantage of the moment when Itachi Uchiha was absent-minded, Sasuke was below activating fire release ninjutsu. Crackle, crackle. The sturdy roof suddenly appeared with spider web-like cracks, emitting a loud shattering sound. Immediately, one after another huge fire dragons broke through the roof from below, tilting towards Itachi Uchiha and flying backwards. Although Itachi Uchiha was prepared, avoid this dragon fire attack. But Sasuke wasted a large amount of chakra, continuously activating the Great Dragon Fire technique, not wanting to use this technique to take Itachi Uchiha's life. Sasuke clearly understood in his heart that Itachi was very difficult to deal with, and that he would fall because of so many small moves. The reason why the Great Dragon Fire technique started its attack from below, it was because he wanted the flames to rise into the air and the heat circulating in the air to quickly diffuse. The cold and hot transition can rapidly change this weather environment. Boom boom, just as Sasuke thought, originally not going to rain down weather, began to appear pouring raindrops falling down. In the sky, dark clouds intermingled and thunder rumbled continuously. This technique is following Kisame Hashigaki's escaped subordinate Yakushi Kabuto. He has now reached the Uchiha Shrine. He was about 300 meters away from Itachi and Sasuke's fighting position, hiding behind a room and carefully observing. Kabuto raised his head to look at the changing weather in the sky, his eyebrows slightly furrowed. This kind of phenomenon, Yakushi Kabuto had encountered it once before. That was when Sasuke last experimented with using Kirin. This kind of local weather change also appeared. This technique I still retreat first. Stay away a little better. He thought of the terrifying scope of this move, and immediately, without any hesitation, he started to retreat. Although it could be said that when dealing with Kirin's large-range killing move, Kabuto has his own way to deal with it. But at the moment it's not yet necessary. Kabuto doesn't want to reveal too much of his true strength, or use a large amount of chakra to do this kind of meaningless thing. On the other side, Sasuke and Itachi's battle continues. Sasuke jumped out from the hole in the roof, continuously dodging in between, and was already standing on top of a large stone tablet of the Uchiha. As his two hands danced continuously in the middle, Chidori was activated. The entire palm of the hand was surrounded by electric arcs. At the moment Sasuke raised his left hand above his head. In the sky, between the dark clouds, huge streaks of lightning occupied the sky. Seemingly accepting orders and instructions, they quickly headed towards the Sasuke Peak stone tablet. The dazzling lightning flashed in the middle and gathered above Sasuke's head, forming a giant lightning dragon head. This is... Itachi wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. The Chunin's eyes couldn't help but show a trace of fear. This lightning release ninjutsu contained extremely high level of danger, Itachi already felt a trace of life threat from above. Itachi, this is the ultimate move. I prepared to deal with you. With this next strike, I will completely defeat you. Sasuke's eyes were filled with cunning. He waved his left hand without any hesitation. The giant lightning dragon head on top of the head was triggered, and it shot towards Itachi Uchiha below. Roar! The thunder dragon roared angrily. Its speed like lightning as it slammed down towards Itachi. Boom, boom, boom. What followed was a flash of lightning. The white light covered a radius of several hundred meters. Looking at the surrounding environment again, it was indeed completely different from before. Located in places where rooms are not visible. Only ruins remain. Scattered stones and wooden planks lay quietly around, occasionally a bit of black smoke slowly rising. What? Is he dead? Sasuke still stood on top of the stone tablet. However, at this moment, his chakra was almost depleted, and Sora's breathing became extremely rapid. In Kirin, Sasuke actually still had other backups. Only now, without seeing if Itachi Uchiha is alive, Sasuke won't be able to use it easily. Uchiha Shrine outside, Kisame Hashigaki and the three ninja swordsmen's battle was still going on. Kisame Hashigaki took on 3 with 1, and still had to face a madman who had already entered the second form of the cursed seal. Honestly, he fought with all his might. The one who was most proficient in water release. But water release is suppressed by lightning release. Although Kisame kept his last few useless moves for later. But the whole battle down to also force to 10 parts difficult. Good opportunity. Trongta once again found a sneak attack opportunity. Entering the second state of the cursed seal, he shook his body and reached Kisame Hashigaki's back. As that fist transformed into a heavy hammer and bombarded towards Kisame Hashigaki, the flame cannon at the elbow position accelerated down. This punch's power increased more than tenfold. But Kisame Hashigaki had just tasted a loss under my subordinate, so he was always on guard against me. This time I once again rushed behind him and ambushed him. Kisame very smoothly chose a reaction, using Samahada's great sword to block from behind and block. Jingle! I threw out a punch with great force, heavily hitting Samahada's blade on the face. Although Samahada protrudes sharp spikes, some of the spikes seriously injure my arms. But this small injury is nothing compared to my Senjutsu chakra. On the contrary, that heavy punch landed on Samahada's greatsword. Kisame only felt his hands tremble. The Samahada greatsword could not dissipate the force. Instead, it was hit and bounced back, stabbing Kisame's chest. Immediately, Kisame Hashigaki let out a loud cough and spat out a large mouthful of fresh blood. Immediately, his whole body flew out like a cannonball. After breaking through a thick wall, Kisame Hashigaki was buried in the brick ruins. It was unknown whether he was alive or dead. Trongta let out a burst of crazy laughter. He once again experienced the long-restrained pleasure of killing someone. Ruins inside, the bricks once provided movement. Kisame Hashigaki crawled out from inside, holding the Samahada great sword in his hand, a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. You 4 bastards! You want me to kill you? Kisame wiped away the blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. A pair of green bean eyes burst into bloodshot, revealing that he was completely angry. If he wanted to use the large-range water release ninjutsu, he could defeat all 4 people before him. It's just that I've always been wary of Itachi's situation on the other side, so I kept my chakra and never used it. Humph! Kisame, the one who deserves to die will be you. You just saw my body. I will never die. Fuguki Suikazan let out a soft hum. Just then, Kisame successfully ambushed him, using Samahada's great sword to cut him. The arm that was cut off on the spot immediately turned into flying pieces and recovered. Less than a moment later, it returned to normal. Moreover, he discovered that this body's chakra was like a never-ending source. Under this premise, Kisame basically has no chance of winning. As he spoke, Fuguki Suikazan noticed something strange. A few hundred meters behind Kisame Hashigaki, there was a group of Konoha ninja quickly running towards this direction. Impure Earth reincarnation not only can receive magic control. Furthermore, the reincarnated person's vision can see the objects. The caster can also see them at first sight. In other words, a long way away. At the time, Fuguki Suikazan discovered Kakashi's team running over. Yakushi Kabuto also discovered the situation. Yakushi Kabuto just now avoided Kirin's full-range attack, was preparing to go in first to see the battle situation between Sasuke and Itachi. Receiving the news that Fuguki Suikazan had passed on and shared his vision, he immediately couldn't help but frown. That Konoha bastard. Even that Uzumaki Naruto guy is in there? Yakushi Kabuto stopped, frowning in the same place. The plan went very smoothly. Everything was within his expectations. Let me and the three ninjas stop Kisame Hashigaki. Let Sasuke and Itachi fight to the death. The two of them's chakra should be almost depleted. Immediately, he sat down to take advantage of the situation. The appearance of Kakashi's squad and Uzumaki Naruto was completely unexpected by Yakushi Kabuto. This made Yakushi Kabuto feel a little frustrated. How can you guys ruin my plan? Well, let them come and get you. Yakushi Kabuto muttered quietly, his fingers starting to form hand seals. Another side, Kakashi's squad of 8, plus Naruto, arrived outside the Uchiha Shrine. That is, the 7 swordsmen of the mist? Kakashi's face was filled with fear, and he stopped about 10 meters away from us. Kakashi still knows the 7 swordsmen of the mist. The third great ninja war was in the Mist Village. The 7 swordsmen of the Mist Village were truly famous. Although they later died one by one on the battlefield, their great names have been passed down to this day. Kakashi-sensei, how is it? Who are these guys? Kiba Inuzuka rode on Akamaru, turned his head to look at Kakashi and asked, They are dead Mist Ninja. They shouldn't be here. This is probably Orochimaru's previous use of impure world reincarnation. Kakashi said in a low voice. He only roughly explained the current situation and did not explain the origin of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Anyway, the matter is too urgent now. There is no time to waste that mouth. Impure world reincarnation? Really, wasn't Orochimaru killed by Naruto? Little Sakura asked doubtfully. She still didn't understand. Yakushi Kabuto had inherited Orochimaru's legacy. Not only little Sakura. I'm afraid there are many people here. Except for the surprise of seeing the original Naruto. The rest of the people were not very clear about the current situation. Everyone charged together. Quickly take care of them. Naruto also had no choice but to explain. The leading horse unleashed its extremely fast speed, leaping forward. Kakashi and this team, also not knowledgeable about ninja seals. But fortunately, this place only has the 3 of us and 1 heavy me. With so many people dealing with a few of them, it's not too difficult. As for Kisame Hashigaki on the other side, it seems like he is having an explosive conflict with a group of people. This point, according to the surrounding this place, clearly fight traces can be seen immediately. Thunderbolt. Ringo Amuri crossed his hands holding Kiba's lightning blade. Immediately, the 2 Raiga blades' electric tips sparkled. Lightning connected straight to the horizon. The sky appeared dense black clouds. Immediately after, a series of arm-sized lightning bolts emitted rumbling sounds and blasted straight down towards Naruto and his group, cutting off Naruto and his group's advance. Susanoo-kan. Naruto advanced his steps without any pause. Both eyes slightly narrowed. The blue pupils turned bright red. The 3 pearls in his eyes rapidly moved, transforming into 2 four-cornered pearl shuriken. Immediately after, a large amount of green energy spread out around Naruto's body. A skeleton body put Naruto's bodyguard in the center. The only skeleton arm that grew out suddenly raised, using the back of its hand to cover Naruto's head. This is Susanoo's first form. Crack crack. Lightning continuously struck Susanoo, possibly on the back of his hand. Crisp sounds continuously rang out, but could not cause too much damage to Susanoo. On the contrary, Naruto, relying on Susanoo to forcibly defend, directly jumped forward a huge distance. His 2 hands searched behind him. The gap in between already held several specially made Hiraishin kunai. Collect. As Naruto waved his hand in the middle, the kunai immediately shot towards the front of our squad of 4 people. Kakashi-sensei, what kind of trick is that Naruto using? How is it so powerful? Kiba Inuzuka rode on Akamaru's back, continuously retreating, dodging each bolt of lightning that fell from the sky. Kakashi also kept dodging and said in a low voice, I'm not very clear, but this kind of thing should have the ability of Sharingan Dojutsu. As he spoke, Kakashi's eyes were filled with comfort as he looked at Naruto's distant back and whispered to himself, Teacher Minato, you really are an extraordinary son. Although the things Naruto does always leave people a bit surprised, his current strength is probably considered to be unique in the entire ninja world. Although Kakashi was also with the Konoha 9 Little Giants, after Naruto betrayed and escaped to the village, the time he spent in contact with Naruto was not too much. But regarding Naruto possessing the Sharingan, Kakashi had already heard about it from Tsunade. He knew Naruto had obtained the Danzo Sharingan, but he didn't think that Naruto had used the Sharingan's power to this extent. Just that kind of use of dry skeleton to protect the body ability. Even among the Uchiha clan, I'm afraid there aren't many people who can do it.